Oh my God. Earlier this spring, my dad and I embarked on a long journey to coastal North Carolina to visit the legendary Outer Banks. The main goal of the trip was to see the Outer Banks Kingsnake in the wild and just explore a really cool part of coastal North Carolina that has been preserved pretty well considering the state of a lot of the southeastern U.S. There's large expanses of protected habitat both on the coast and on the mainland, and we were excited to get out there and see what we could find. Oh, racer. Oh, glass lizard. Nice. Heck yeah. There's not a hidden king snake somewhere I don't see, is there? There we go. First flip in the Outer Banks. Racer and a glass lizard. All right, Racer is grumpy with us, so we'll leave him alone. And I'll give you guys a better look at this guy. Very pretty yellowish eastern glass lizard. Maybe my first from North Carolina, actually. I can't think of another one. Every good day on the coast starts with a glass lizard. Hopefully that will be the first of many exciting flips today. I don't have my GoPro though, so I'm going to be recording them all with my phone, which might make for some kind of weird flips, but it's better than missing the flip clip entirely. Here you go, king snake food.
Couple of pieces.
Very nice. He is very cute. We are going to be rolling in these today, I hope. Pretty good start, 2 of them at our first stop. Quick, productive flipping to start the day. That's what you like to see. Look at this guy tongue flicking. That's so cute. We're about to see how much of a bit. Oh, enough to have some nice burrows. I mean, that could have done it. All right, Dad just spotted our 3rd eastern glass lizard of the morning. This one out just crawling around. This one is pretty big, honestly. It's about as big as I've seen them, really. Not the most colorful, but still a very pretty lizard. Beautiful speckling. Just doesn't have that super nice blue that we're used to in Georgia and Florida. But they do have a little bit yellower of a belly, it seems. Very, very vibrant banana yellow. Great looking lizard. All right, buddy. Here you go. Go on. And just like that, headed back to the car from our next flip spot. There is number 4, just crawling through the grass. Keep moving. What was that, dude? Not towards the road. Well, there's been no shortage of small little pieces of wood out here to flip, and none of them have had a king snake under them yet. That easily could have. What a magnificent beast. That blue is exactly what I was hoping to see when I realized we would be getting into quite a few of these today. And sure enough, absolutely fantastic, fully grown adult male eastern glass lizard. What a beast. All right, buddy. It is crazy to me just how thick and unnavigable so much of this habitat out here is. It's a beautiful place, but I wonder how much of this stuff is native. I mean, a lot of this looks like native smilax, native Virginia creeper, but it just grows in such a impenetrable way. I don't know what it is about this part of North Carolina, but it just has green snakes. Look at this guy. That is such a cool in situ. That is completely as found, just coming out onto the trail. He is so vibrant. I mean, hey, buddy. Whoa, what a snake. He is neon. Beautiful. Of course, I didn't have my camera to get an in situ, but I did get a phone shot. Very, very nice. Is that our second snake of the day? I guess the racer was the first. Lots of glass lizards, 1 racer, and a beautiful green snake so far. All right, bud, here you go. Back to your vegetation. Just instant. Well, I can still kind of see him. It's crazy how well they can navigate this stuff. I was just talking about how thick and dense it is for a person to navigate, but perfect for a green snake. All right, everyone, we're having a bit of a change of strategy. We flipped junk for most of the morning, saw a lot of stuff, just no king snakes, which is the main thing we're hoping to see. So we're gonna switch it up, walk around habitat for a little bit, and maybe see some other stuff. It's definitely getting a little toasty in the sun, so these nice shady coastal hammocks with dappled sunlight seem pretty appealing right now. All right, I flipped so many boards like this today without, oh, king snake. Are you kidding me? I was literally just talking about how many boards I've flipped like this. And there we have it. He's in shed, of course, but it's a king snake. Nevertheless, it is a massive relief to just get a snake under our belt and get that pressure off for the trip. And it is a very different looking king snake, even if it's not necessarily your classic Outer Banks look. And for those who aren't familiar, in case we don't find one, typical Outer Banks kingsnakes are what people think of when they say Outer Banks kingsnakes are heavily speckled. This is probably a pretty typical Outer Banks kingsnake in terms of what a truly wild individual would look like, though. This is not to say that you can't find crazy looking ones. It's just not very common to see the super speckled ones compared to the more normal looking ones like this guy. Alright, we'll get some quick photos of this guy and we'll continue going through his board pile. Pretty unsuspecting, but we flipped a lot of very suspecting and unsuspecting cover today without a king snake, so I'm just happy to see one. Hopefully we'll find his dad. This one's got a cactus coming up. Ah! In my finger.
That's what I got too.
This one's got a cactus and sand spurs.
Oh.
Skink. Nice. Little inexpectatus. Very expected. Alright. Tiny board. What is that? Another one?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That one looks more.
It's definitely weirder. We got siblings out here. Both in shed, both under tiny little dinky boards. Maybe if there's a big board here, we'll find a big guy.
Too.
It is. This one's definitely weirder. That is gonna be a cool snake, fully grown. Well, there you go. There's a little bit of the weirdness. All right, well there we go. We have a very abnormally patterned eastern king snake. This is kind of a more typical aberrancy, like maybe even what we'd see in Georgia, but still very unique. And after only seeing 2 snakes here, one of them is weirder than average. So I would definitely say that there's at least something going on out here genetically that's a little bit different.
White. Look at all the solid black through there.
All right, now I'm really hankering for a big one. We got 2 little guys on the board and a good bit more to flip. We'll let this guy go too and continue on. 2 Outer Banks kingsnakes in the last 5 minutes after going until, what time is it? 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon without seeing one? 1:49. Took us, and we've been here since 4 a.m. We drove through the night to get here. I literally drove 10 hours straight, leaving home at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon to find these snakes. So, definitely feels good to get them. Alright, Outer Banks Kingsnake number 2, flip clip recorded on my iPhone because I left my GoPro beside my bed. Very cool. Yeah. These are nice, like the way they have a bunch of roots and stuff onto them. These need a big board on top of them. Cactus. Cactus and sand spurs.
Very hostile.
For some reason I thought that both... Here's a live rosy wolf snail. I can't remember if this is where these are invasive or not. Whose fish are these? Even if we don't see a classic Outer Banks king snake phenotype animal today, this is what it's all about, really. Just seeing this place that I've heard so much about and actually spending some time out here. And it's just a nice bonus to actually get to see the snakes we were looking for. And we've still got a couple more days in this region to round it out with some more finds. So we're going to keep at it in this general area today, and then maybe tomorrow we'll branch out a little more. And our strategy paid off pretty fast with a crusty racer. This guy is definitely not looking his best, so quick voucher, sanitize, and release. I've been engaged in battle. Dude, you made it. You made it across. That's really cool. I'm glad you made it. That's a heck of a road to have to cross as a guy of your size. All right. We'll walk him over here. That is really cool. I did not know they had box turtles on the Outer Banks. There you go, buddy. Please stay clear of that road. You were way too pretty to get run over. Good morning, everybody. Today we are headed back to the mainland in coastal North Carolina, and the main thing we're hoping to see today is going to be pygmy rattlesnakes and potentially scarlet king / coastal plains milk snake thingies. All right, next turtle of the day is a pretty crazy one. Look at that. That's a spotted turtle. These guys are a super declining and rare turtle species, kind of locally abundant though. When you start getting into areas that have them, you can find quite a few. And this is probably one of those areas, being that we're in North Carolina, one of the states where they're doing the best. But very, very cool little turtle, something we don't get to see very often. Usually when we do see them, they're crossing a road like this. We'll get some quick photos and make sure he gets into the ditch safely. Well, that's a bummer. DOR mud snake. It's a good sign that we could find a live one at some point, though. What are you? It is a mud turtle. Mud turtle species. Are you an eastern or a striped? Looking pretty eastern. But honestly, I'm not great with identifying mud turtles. Yeah, I think it's just an eastern. We're gonna go with eastern. We did see a DOR yesterday. It was probably a striped. Well, there's some weird bivalves here. Look at those things. I have no idea what that is. Anyways, boop. And another spotted turtle. Man, it's a turtle day. It's a little slider. Little fresh baby. It's very cute. Alright, little dude. I don't really know where you're going either, but I don't even know how you're gonna navigate this terrain. Baby spotted turtle? I can't even tell. I don't even know what that is. I actually think this one's a little cooter. I was able to get a little bit of the mud off his shell, and I think I can see some of those cooter rings, but really I'm not entirely sure. What's this guy? It's a little mud. He was about to get snatched by a crow. This is like a yearling mud turtle. Oh, he peed. Finally a snake. Look at that. It's cool in situ. That's pretty cool. I don't spot these guys during the daytime too often, but they're common enough out here that it seems to be pretty regular. We saw one yesterday, and we've got one today as our first snake. We actually did lose a snake off the path earlier that I have no idea what it was. What a neat in situ. All right, we'll continue on. Finally, on the way back to the car, there we have a pygmy. Get an in situ and then we'll get closer. He looks so much like a sweet gum ball. Well, we might only get one today, but it's better than none. And a very cool in situ, just chilling on this log. That's my favorite thing about this area. Not necessarily that the pygmies are extra nice, but that you can actually just find them in habitat doing their thing like this. Really, really cool. We still got a good ways to walk to get back to the car, so we might see more, but if we don't, it's definitely nice to just get one. Just like with the kingsnakes, just getting at least one of what we came to see. Getting the targets, even if not in abundance, is always nice. We'll get some photos and leave that guy right there. These guys are protected here in North Carolina, so no need to mess with them. Look at this racer up in a tree. What you doing, dude? Oh, he's right there still, just going up.
Chasing another snake?
Possible. I don't see another snake yet. Doesn't mean it's not there. Something got it? It does. A turtle's got this killdeer. I think it's a turtle. Something has got this guy and is holding him in the water. It is. Can you grab my camera out of the back? It's a common snapping turtle eating a killdeer. Oh my God. That is insane. So I'm sure there's some people right now that are saying, save the bird, but the bird's already screwed up. His wing's been broken by the snapping turtle's jaws, and there's nothing really we can do for him besides let nature take its course. But yeah, that is incredible. We might try to watch for a little bit, but this is at some point going to get gruesome enough that I probably shouldn't show it on YouTube. So Very, very cool, crazy thing to see. Hopefully I got some decent footage of it. All right, guys, it's the heat of the day right now. It's gotten super windy, and we are just driving around looking at turtles and just kind of scouting habitat for this afternoon when it's going to be a little cooler, potentially somewhere to night cruise tonight. So we're seeing lots of turtles in the ditches, a few turtles on the roads too, but not quite as many as this morning. All right, here's another eastern mud turtle on the road. The wind is just ridiculous, so I'm having to do a voiceover in the car, but I think this is just another eastern. We've seen at least one DOR striped, so it'd be cool to get one of those alive. All right, well, right after the mud turtle, we looked into the ditch and saw 2 more spotted turtles and this stink pot and slider that were all within feet of each other. Well, that's a first for the trip, kind of surprisingly. I don't know how common these guys are here, but first ringneck we found under this tin, which once again, I'm not really recording the flipping because I don't have my GoPro and it's too much work to get through this stuff without wearing one. All right. Checking out an old abandoned property, and we've got our first rat snake of the trip right there. Very cool looking. Kind of a mixture between a yellow and black rat. A little bit of yellow, mostly black. And I guess he will probably grow up to be darker than that. This is definitely a unique looking rat snake. He's got a little spider web on this side of his face. It's not an injury or anything, just a web. But then once you get past the head, it looks more or less like a black rat. Very interesting. All right, we are about to begin road cruising for the night. Darkness is falling. It's very cloudy, very humid, very warm. Just seems like a good night. We'll see what we can get into. All right, we got our first snake of the night. It is a big ribbon. Not that way. No. I don't want to smell like you. There you go. I don't know why I'm a little surprised by the fact we just cruised the big brown water snake, but I am. Stuff's moving. We're going to do the same. Y'all know how road cruising goes. Tends to be a kind of tight window, so we want to spend as little time as possible with each snake and try to find as many snakes as possible until we find one of our targets. All right, I'm truthfully not exactly sure if this is a banded or Carolina water, because I think there are both in this area. If it'll stop trying to jump up in the air, and I could look at it for a second. All right, I definitely think that's fasciata. Does not look right for a Carolina water snake to me, but a very nice looking Nerodia. Almost solid black with a very red head. Very pretty belly on this guy. Stay out of the road, dude. All right, what's this one? That's a plain belly, I think. Yep. There's our gaster blaster. We've officially now seen every Nerodia here, I think, except the one we're looking for. So for those that don't know, hopefully we'll find one and I can explain it again, but the Carolina water snake is a subspecies of the Midland water snake. So there's both fasciata and Cypodon here, which is really, really weird to me. Hey, we got a copperhead. Doesn't look any different than the ones at home, but nice to see for sure. We got the danger mode hooked tonight. This is not my favorite thing to use on copperheads because of just how far they can jump, but he seems pretty chill. We'll get him out of the road. Oh, angry mode. All right, this is probably going to be our last snake of the night. It's a brown snake, and he does have that weird marsh brown snake phenotype that I've seen in several states wherever you have this weird coastal marsh habitat. It's very interesting. Marsh brown snake used to be its own subspecies, but it was not found anywhere near North Carolina. Well, that sure is what that looks like. Very, very cool.